Broadcasting live from Mount Clemens, Michigan. This is Only the Best Herbs with Ryan Bolda.
I just wanted to create a show and a community where you could be yourself and learn about all natural medicines.
What's going on, everybody? It's Ryan here from Surgeons LLC. Today I'm with Kristen. She is the owner of a new upcoming business. I'm definitely going to let her explain about this because she is really excited. I'm really excited for her. So, all right, Kristen, what do you got for us?
So it's red squirrel mycology, and basically, I'm going to be putting out a hardware line that is unique. I don't think anybody has done it before, and certainly not a whole product line. And it's geared mainly towards making mycology like more user friendly for the beginner, for like the absolute beginner, and I'm going to be doing some kits along with the line to starter packs to help people have like what they need, and some videos to go along with them. Just I mean, there are PGT and the the rookie mycologists and all those people who have trailblazed in terms of like providing instructional videos. But I think that everybody learns a little differently. So, watching their videos might be more helpful for certain people than watching mine might be as helpful for, other people. So, I think there's room in that space, to grow in order to help people.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
So, real quick, I wanted to talk about these seeds and glass that we have, these glass pipes. Glass pipes are really, in my opinion, really nice. Right here, we got a bubbler. We let this go for probably around 30, 35 bucks. It's really nice. In here, we got seeds, right? We got candy cookies. We got Crazy Kush. And we got Ruga cookies, which I kind of like the name of this. This is how they come. Message in a bottle, right? Seeds in a bottle. Company Ruga Montetto. We partnered up with them for what is called the Hemp for Humanity. We're still doing that, by the way. It's just taking some time. And yeah, contact me if you are interested in possibly glass like this or top quality feminized genetics, courtesy of Ruga Montetto. We need more dependable mycology supplies. Contamination is a huge issue. It's the #1 issue mycologists face daily when working with microbials or mushrooms, fungus in general, I suppose. But it's not a new industry. It's definitely a trending industry at the moment. However, it's not new. What would you say? Do you think it's the time to get into the microbial business now? I mean, clearly you think so, right?
Yeah, I think so. I've read that the increase in popularity was really spurred by COVID-19. And people trying to find natural ways to help themselves.
For sure.
That's when I was looking at the industry and the metrics of it and everything. That's apparently where there's been a big boom in the last couple of years, and that's why. And it's I didn't even think about that. So it's just it's wild.
So I wanted to touch on your backstory a little bit. I know you were in college, you studied microbials or biochemistry, actually, right? Tell me a little bit more about your schooling and your background.
So I went to school when I was younger to get my undergrad in bioorganic chemistry with the aim of going on the PhD track for research. But a couple years in, I got really sick and I had to leave school in order to get treatment. So that was put on pause for a while. And then once I recovered, I didn't go back to school immediately. I started working in the horse industry because I grew up loving and riding horses. So I just kind of went right into the workforce. I was itching to do something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, I worked my way up from being a regular horse groom to an international level horse groom where I worked with like Olympic level athletes. Yeah, I flew on a big 747 cargo plane with horses to England.
Hello from Amsterdam. So, Coco Bell and I are currently in a 747 at the airport waiting to be unloaded because there is a windstorm, the likes of which nobody has ever seen before. So I opted to stay on board with the horses, take care of them, because, well, duh, they can't be alone. Can you, Coco? Say hi. Amsterdam, buddy. We're almost there. And Beebs is back there too. Can't really see her. But we are waiting, and I am going to make them a little bit more mash and feed some extra apples, the reserve. We might have a long wait here, a couple more hours, but we're in the home stretch, and yeah. So say goodbye, Coco. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Definitely have some stories. I was one of 4 people on this giant aircraft. It was just wild. Me, 3 other people, and 2 horses, and a plane full of flowers from Argentina. To Amsterdam. Yeah.
What? That was what a visual.
Yeah, I've got videos too of the flight, the plane, and it's crazy because, it's just nuts because you go from, the top of the airplane where it's kind of like the nose where you see like the windows. There's like the pilots and then 8 seats, and then there's a door that leads out and a ladder down into the cargo. That cargo is full of flowers, cut flowers, and it smells like nothing you've ever smelled. And and then there are horses, and I had to go and check on the horses every 2 hours on this transatlantic flight. And you got to carry an oxygen tank with you in case the plane depressurizes, and it's just it's crazy.
Wow, that's tense.
Yeah,
that's tense.
Wow, that is so cool. I know we had talked a little bit earlier before this interview. So you are currently retired from horse training and doing all that, and your 757s, right?
Yeah. I retired. I got really disenchanted with it, due to the human side of it. There are a lot of human rights violations in the industry. In terms of how many hours you work, no fair compensation with that. And with the amount of hours and the physical nature of the work, there should be more staff. But the people that run these businesses, it's all about cost, and because nobody regulates it, they put a lot on one person. Yeah, there's verbal, physical abuse, and also taking advantage of undocumented workers in this country. It's also a big pick. Which I mean is par for the course, unfortunately. But you know, it's just it's a there's definitely a dark side to it, and I couldn't do it anymore. So, long story short.
So you had mentioned that you were going to school, right? And you weren't able to finish because you had gotten sick. What we haven't really touched on yet is the struggle you had with Lyme disease and the story behind that because you figured out you had it at a young age.
So, the day that I found out like what Lyme disease was and that I may have it, I was 20, I think I was about 23. Um, and I had been experiencing so like before that, I was experiencing for over a decade these weird symptoms. Um, and I had seen they started at age 11, and I saw every kind of doctor, and nobody could figure out what was wrong. And I'm in South Florida, just for reference, and nobody would think to search for Lyme disease. So, I was kind of told that it's in my head, there's something wrong, um, and just to push through. And so I did that until I was 23, and I started to get these really severe neurological symptoms where I was tripping, my speech was slurred, um, and my fingertips. So the day that I found out I might have Lyme disease, my fingertips started to go numb, and I was not really able to breathe well. So I went to my university clinic, and a nurse practitioner there, like after I got oxygen, 'cause my O2 was really low. After I received that, then the nurse practitioner said, we had been talking a little bit and talking a little bit about horses, and she put together that I could have Lyme. And so she did the testing for that. I had to go in, I think, every week to get my blood tested because Lyme can hide in the body. And the time that it tends to express itself and you can catch the antibodies are when um, the moon is at its fullest. So
Wow.
it cycles with the moon. So I had to get tested every week to make sure I didn't miss it. And lo and behold, it showed up, and that that nurse practitioner knew of one of the leading um, doctors in the field of treatment, and she got me a referral to go to her. So it took me a couple months to get in, but yes, I did have Lyme, and it was causing everything. So
Damn.
I had to go through treatment, which for my level of severity, I was kind of in like end stage Lyme at the time, almost to the point of no return. And I had to do 6 months of doxycycline, and the normal, which is an antibiotic that at a normal level would be about 50 milligrams would be the dose.
Okay.
And mine was 200 milligrams for 6 months. So that was really, really harsh on my system. And I also did part of the treatment was herbal medicines as well.
Well, you are on a show called Only the Best Herbs. So what kind of natural remedies are you talking about?
There's Banderol and Cemento, which come from a tree in the Amazon. That's just bark, the bark of the tree.
Mm.
And it actually destroys biofilms on Lyme. And a biofilm is kind of like a protective, like armor almost around the Lyme particles.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Wow.
immune system can't break through it. Like the immune system can attack it as much as it wants, and it hides with the biofilms. It can go dormant. You can have a ton of it in your system, and your body can't fight it.
That's so
So
confusing.
I know,
That's
it's
so
wild.
that's so crazy.
It's wild. And so I use the herbal therapies and a whole host of conventional medicine. And it took me 5 years to feel something like normal again, or for the first time since I was 11, you know. And it's wild.
Years later, find out you're in remission. You worked with doctors to get back healthy and whatnot. Describe to me day one. How did you feel once you started to feel better and realized you were in remission and everything was going to be okay?
I think it's like joy, because there's just a lot of joy with it, because I felt like I was trapped and limited in my body by my body for so long, and suddenly there's just this blank check to do whatever I want to do, and I can do anything that a normal person can do now. And like so many things were off limits to me. Like I couldn't go outside for very long because I would like really like overheat really quick. All of my joints hurt in my body.
That just blows my mind. And I'm so glad you got that. I'm so glad you got that back.
Me too. Me too. I mean, it's that feeling that, you can do anything. It's really freeing, and I can still remember quite vividly how it felt, and it's like, that's why I feel, such sympathy and compassion for people who have things like fibromyalgia, MS,
Right.
any debilitating rheumatoid arthritis, anything that is, really holding somebody back, and like the pains of that every day. I really feel for them. It's hard. It's
Yeah.
really hard.
All right. So after this, you live your life, right? And then you get the idea to start the Red Squirrel mycology business, right? How much of inspiration would you say beating your Lyme disease has been for starting your business?
Well, so when I was, at my first attempt, my first go around at my undergrad, which I'm now back at school again to complete that.
Congrats.
But at my first go around, I was a biochemical lab assistant in school, and I was working on a term project for the head of the department, who so he was he's working on broad spectrum, and I'm fairly sure that he still is, PRMT um, PRMT research, which is protein arginine methyltransferases. They're enzymes that catalyze the addition of methyl groups on protein arginine. So, and they are implicated. Long story short, they're implicated in like their role. They have a role in the progression of human disease and the onset of disease. So, like, cardiovascular issues, prostate cancer, brain, colon cancer, skin cancer, they're all like that, they're involved in like the dirty business. So we were working on isolating and activating these enzymes that are very poorly researched, or were at the time. And we were using that essentially in the hopes of developing cancer vaccines. So it was cancer vaccine research. And I successfully isolated and activated PRMT5, and I think I was the only one in the lab to successfully isolate and activate an enzyme aside from the professor. And so that is in a deep freezer somewhere, all that activated enzyme that he's probably using to advance that research. So I have a history, I've wanted to advance medicine, and I want to help cure diseases and help manage them. So, that's always been a passion. And then, finding out that I had Lyme, going through that process, the use
Beating
of
it. Beating it.
yeah, beating it. you know, and going through that whole process, you know, it's reinforced that passion in me for sure. So with Red Squirrel, you know, ultimately beyond, you know, selling the basic, you know, the products and, you know, whatever else I'm selling, it's really, my goal is to advance medicine, and the understanding, the scientific understanding of, you know, natural and naturally derived remedies, you
For
know,
sure.
because, you know, there's a lot of, you know, there's research being done on, you know, neurogenesis with, you know, mushrooms with psilocybe, lion's mane, reishi, you know, those kinds. And so,
Mhm.
um, you know, I want to get into that, you know, and see what comes of it for sure.
I thought this multiple times while while you were speaking. Like, if no one else has told you, like, you're a hero. You're legitimately a hero, like, out there trying to cure diseases, molecular hero. That's really awesome.
Thank you.
That's really awesome.
So we've talked about a little bit about the red squirrel mycology. You have a big launch coming up. Tell me about that.
So I'm going to be launching my first product line on October 1st. And it's going to be that beginner, well, and I shouldn't just say beginner because there's not, that's the inspiration for it is to make a line of, how do I say, growth medium, um like jars, bags, make it easier, but also potentially reducing contamination,
Mhm.
because, you know, contamination is the biggest issue we have with growing mushrooms and mushroom research and everything. So
For
I'm
sure.
really looking to hone in on any little way I can to reduce contam. And, you know, I was looking at this initially as just lids that I would make for myself, and it's like, well, you know, why stop there? You know, lids,
Mhm.
you know, bags, etc. Just being big about it right now, but you'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure I will see, and I'm excited to see too. Um, the one thing I had to ask you though, and we have talked a little bit about it, is the inspiration behind the red squirrel. Like, where did you get the name from?
So it's actually a pretty funny story. So first off, I'm a redhead, so that's kind of where the red squirrel came in. But and I'm
Okay.
a little crazy, a little nuts, you know. Um, but the squirrels on my property where I live now are hilarious creatures because we have these we have a bunch of mango trees, and, you know, when the mango fruit drops, it ferments and creates alcohol. So it's like they're like these alcoholic fruits, and the squirrels eat them on purpose,
Mhm.
and they just they're drunk squirrels running around.
That's
So
awesome.
just there's chaos, you know, and they're hilarious to watch because they're doing things that just don't make sense,
Even for a squirrel.
even for a squirrel. So that's kind of where, you know, red squirrel came from for me. So just they're hilarious. And so another aspect of my shop and what I'm going to offer, I'm uh, I mean, potentially what I'm working on, um, it's in very early stages, whether it be agar, um, grain jars, grain bags, that sort of thing. I'm looking at, you know, accelerating timelines without use of antibiotics. Um, you know, that's mainly, like, that's another area where I'm
Mhm.
gonna have products. So, and that's actually what I'm gonna go and do today.
No.
Is, you know, you know, stage one of that. I have a Facebook page and I have a website in development. Facebook page is Red Squirrel Mycology. That's the name, and there's also, that's also the link.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, just watch out for my products. I'm going to drop them, October 1st, and there's also going to be some giveaways as well. So, and that's going to be in Swampy State, and I think also by you and your page as well.
For sure.
So there's going to be a bunch of giveaways going on. I want people to try my product, and yeah, that's it. Stay tuned.
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
All right, everybody. I appreciate everyone who tuned in this week. Just a reminder, we're on Apple Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to that. We're going to have content on there that you can only find on the Apple Podcasts. So be sure to subscribe to that. Big thank you to Kristen for showing up today and representing the Red Squirrel and Mycology. Stay tuned for her launch in October. Next week, we have part 2 of my interview with my partner, Sheila. Definitely don't want to miss that. Again, my name is Ryan Bolda. I'll see you soon. You'll see me soon.